All right. So this is our last set of definitions for the chapter World War I, which is the Great War. Okay. Number 16 is Mr. Alvin York, famous World War I American sniper, who snuck behind enemy lines and killed 28 Germans and captured an additional 132 by himself in one incident. And I'll give you that story. Well, I might as well give it to you now. So basically what happened, y'all, is he went through no man's land at night, and he set up behind the German trenches. And whenever daybreak came, the war started again, or the battle, I should say. And this is on the Western Front, if you remember what that was. We did that in previous definitions. And he was behind the German line, and as they fired their shots, Alvin would pop them from behind in the back of the head. And after, 10 or 15 of them dropped, they started getting hysterical, and the Germans believed that there was a traitor in the midst, and that, some German was shooting other Germans, so they couldn't figure it out, and they all threw their hands up after a while. And that made Alvin York the hero of World War I, as far as, well, not the only one, but one of the major ones. When Alvin came back home, the United States government actually decided to buy him a farm, and he lived the rest of his days there. His house has actually been turned into a museum now, I believe. I haven't been there yet, though. All right, we're going to scroll down so we can get the last definitions, hopefully. Hopefully everybody got that one. All right, so propaganda, okay? We had this on your basic U.S. history vocabulary right at the start of the year, okay? Biased or misleading information designed to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view, okay? Propaganda it's always been there, okay? It's old as time, basically, as old as governments. People are trying to hype up their side and put down the other side. That's what it is. The master of propaganda starts his career in this chapter, and that's going to be the leader of Germany later on in World War II, Adolf Hitler, which you should already know. All right, reparations, number 18. Germany was forced to pay compensation for the damage they caused during World War I. All right, let's look at the word, the root word, as we always do. The root word is repair, okay? You have to pay to repair the damage that you did. Germany had to sign what's called the War Guilt Clause as part of the Treaty of Versailles at the end of the chapter. We didn't go over that yet. We'll get to that. But they got blamed for the entire war, even though they weren't the ones that started. And they had to pay it back. And the way they paid it back basically collapsed their economy and ensured that World War II would follow afterwards about 20 years later. Number 19 is armistice. Okay? It's a temporary ceasefire or an agreement to stop fighting. Now, an armistice is going to be temporary, like I said. A permanent, or hopefully permanent, treaty to stop, agreement to stop fighting is called a peace treaty. Okay? So, let's say that we know one side of a war is defeated. Well, they're going to call a temporary ceasefire until they can work out the terms of the treaty. And that's what an armistice is. 14 points. This is a major point on the LEAP test. Okay, this is always on the LEAP test. So really pay attention. Notice, y'all, again, we've gone over this before. The bolded terms are the one from the LEAP study guide. So if you are highlighting those at the end of the year for your LEAP test, you can just go study those definitions, and it'll help prepare you for the LEAP. So 14 points. President Wilson, his plan to eliminate the causes of war and turn America into an international police force. So he had 14 things. He said, if we do these 14 things, then there won't be a World War II. Well, it didn't really work out for Wilson. That story will be at the end of this chapter. And 20 years later, like I said, we had World War II. All right, I think that's the end. Yes. Okay, that is the end of your definitions for the chapter.